I really actually think it's better for me to use Audition to record my audio as opposed to Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes my mic sound better. I have no way to prove that at all. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just a fancier way of the program, and you can do more in it.
I haven't noticed a difference between the the Star Wars video and your other ones, so it could be, but I haven't seen it.
Maybe it's just a placebo effect. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Nice. And I mean, yeah, this whole podcast is a placebo effect. We remember it in so many different ways.
That's something else entirely.
That's exactly how this works. Welcome back to Maybe Next Week. It's a podcast, and we talk about stuff. We're a little late, but, that's the point of this show.
Yes, we're not. This is fine.
Yeah, we're just kind of here. But, yeah, we got new audio equipment. Not really. It's just software that I've had for about a year now, and I just decided to start using it.
It probably won't make a difference to the show, but,
Nope.
it's at least, it's happening now. That's cool.
I mean, I get to look at all the heat signature waves over here while it's going. That's pretty cool, but I mean,
Otherwise,
it is what it is. Yeah, otherwise, there's literally no point to it.
So what's up? What's going on? How are things?
It's been a busy week, legitimately. I had 3 days off, which was glorious, and I had to actually fight for that. I was like, I'm getting these 3 days off. Don't call me into work, please. I have stuff to do. I have stuff I need to catch up on. Also, just give a bitch a break.
I have a family. Not really, but I have shit to do.
I have a family. They're make-believe, but it's a family now.
They're imaginary, but they still count.
No, but we've been doing a lot. Just in the past 3 days, we
What's my hair doing?
one of the reasons one of the reasons this podcast exists is because we have this random moments where we just have instead of just a spur of energy at 3 a.m, we have a spur of creativity that just lasts for a week or so.
Yeah.
So that's why we'll have really good ideas, and those ideas just build on top of each other. And we were due for that. It had been a few months since that happened, so we were due for it. And then suddenly we just decided to open 2 different YouTube channels.
Mine had been around for a while, but I just had the idea of what I wanted to make. It's been sitting there unused for at least a month now, if not longer than that.
I mean, almost kind of same, because I'd put a lot of thought into that with the Star Wars channel that I want to do. I had thought about that for years, and more regularly in the past couple months had I thought about doing it. So I was just like, fuck it, let's do it. So I sat down and started, and you were just like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So we both opened 2 other channels to add to the 7 that we have now.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's all of it is a lot.
We have a lot, but I mean, I'm hoping for good things out of it.
I am too. I think it's going to be nice.
But I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool now that we have. I'm thinking we have at least. It has to be about 7 channels collectively between you and me.
Yeah. Not a lot of them get used, thankfully.
No, I was going to say, because if we count the Espionage Project, then Silver Age Media, then there's my channel, so my Espionage Joker channel, we have Maybe Next Week now. Now we have Alec Reviews Things, and we have my Star Wars channel. So, okay, there's 6.
And Countercap.
And Countercap, so there we go, 7.
Yeah. That's, it's weird to think back on that we've put out that much content.
Yeah, I know. Collectively, we've done a lot of different things, and I think it's interesting to see how the content we make has progressed into different styles, and we're starting to just narrow it down into what we really want to keep doing.
Yeah, it's just a feeling it out process.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It's just I know it's kind of crazy at times because we're just this is exactly what I want to do. I want to do this type of content, and then we do it for a while, and then it just kind of trails off into nothing.
Yeah, you do a couple of like dry runs of it. You start to get comfortable and you're like, okay, this is fun. I like this. And then you pretty quickly learn what's sustainable or what you really want to do and what you don't. And
Yeah.
for us, that's been kind of a long process. We've kind of run the whole gamut.
Yeah,
we've done the whole
because
thing.
I was gonna say I did gaming videos on my channel for about 2 years, and then I was like, yeah, let's give something else a try. Let's just see what happens. So I did I think it was a reaction video, is what I did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that seems to make sense in my head.
Let's see, it was either the reaction video or it was me talking about the new Ghostbusters thing. It was one of those two. I can't remember which one I did first, and it got a big amount of traction. I was like, okay, hold up. Then I started doing more of that, and then I was like, we kind of went back and forth. So I did a couple of gaming videos in between the movie stuff, and then the gaming videos just dropped.
Yeah.
And all the movie stuff just kept going up. So I was like, okay, I think we're going to make a little bit of a transition.
For me, I wanted to make like documentary style videos for a while, and tried a bunch of that, and I still like that. I still think it's something that I would like to do in the future. There was just no way for us to feasibly make it between just the 3 or 4 of us that were involved at the time.
Yeah, there was just like not a lot to do.
We documented a fair amount of stuff, but yeah, like when making those kinds of videos, you can capture a whole lot of information in the 10 to 20 minutes that we were filming for them. Or the final product was 10 to 20 minutes rather. And I think that really kind of shone through. Like when I was making it, it's like, all right, I'm already having to stretch to be creative about how we're going to fill this time, and we'd only made a couple of them, along the way. It's like, all right, so maybe we need to just slow down and try a few other things. And since then, I've done, Countercap came along about a year after that, roughly or so. Yeah, I would say about a year. And at first, it was around that same time, actually, I was writing articles with the name Countercap. I had a WordPress that I was using for Call of Duty and just other esports stuff. And I was writing under the name Countercap. And then about 6 or 7 months after that, I started filming videos for the channel, which was then actually doing pretty well at the time. But I picked it up at a bad time because the end of the season was coming. We were going to be in between games. There wasn't a whole lot of new news. And so that had to stall out until the start of the next season. And at which rate, schedules had changed. Me and Brian had a podcast called The 100 Point Club. And then that couldn't work out because we were both on different schedules. You and I started Silver Age. Even before that, we were just filming news and reaction videos for your channel.
Yep.
I feel like I've skipped a step somewhere, I think. But regardless. Oh, I was filming just kind of some like cinematic, not vlog style content, but it was just kind of like these kind of demo reels of things that we were doing. I was just recording these like cinematic videos and editing them together. And I did that for a couple of weeks.
And then you got real big into the photography stuff.
Yeah, that was all around the same time. I was doing a lot of photography stuff, which I would still do more of that if there were stuff going on. But, we're kind of in a pandemic and it's not safe to go outside. So, kind of puts a little dent on what you can capture.
And then we had the Revolt stuff for a little bit.
Yeah, Revolt came back and we were doing more gaming adjacent content. We weren't really filming like the gaming itself, but we were talking about it. We were filming stuff around it. And that was still fun. I still really enjoyed doing that and wanted to keep it up. We even started the podcast and recorded 2 or 3 episodes. I edited most of the videos for that channel, and that was fun. Just kind of stretching what I knew how to do in video editing. And so that's about... The journey goes from about 2016 to the Revolt content was started in August of 2019, I think, or July of 2019.
Something like that, yeah.
And then that lasted for about 2 months before we just, again, schedules got in the way and then we pivoted around. And ever since then, it's all just been writing for me. In October, you and I started our book together, or started.
October of last year, yeah.
Yeah, that was... that had been a long time coming. We had the idea for forever.
and that's another example of what I mentioned, what I said earlier about the random sporadic moments of creativity, because I think we talked about it last week on the show, but we had the idea that was sitting there for so long, because I think like 2 years prior, we had both mentioned that we were both interested in writing a book of some sort, and we tried to come up with some kind of ideas, and I know the first thing we came up with was one of the villain characters that's in the book now. We were just like, we just got to create some demonic hell-bent robot or something like that. And I guess, the 2 years later in 2019 when we started, we just sat down and wrote the entire thing in about 2 weeks' time. It's not good, we know that part, but like we just had the whole thing in here for so long that we were able to just sit down and nonstop for days just type, like back to back. We brought his setup behind mine and we just went.
Yeah, that was at our old apartment where we had the room to just set up in your room. I could just bring an end table in, put the Mac on it, and just go for hours at a time. We had Star Wars on in the background for a lot of it.
We did.
Sometimes we just had like ambient music playing from whatever. And yeah, those were just like back to back to back to back days of writing, thinking, writing again, going to sleep, waking up, writing. And it was fun, but can't recommend anyone ever do that. Like, one, the end product wasn't great, but two, the schedule itself was god awful.
Yeah, because we would go until like the 4 a.m. hour sometimes, just trying to finish the thoughts that we had, just to get them out onto the screen so we would have them out of our heads.
And like that produced the majority of a book. And then I started trying to write other stuff, particularly for NaNoWriMo the next month. I started BS for Brian, and I made it like 20,000 words before tapping out because my brain was fried.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a crash and burn, but you were just working nonstop for a few weeks there.
Yeah, for about 6 weeks, it was just go, go, go. And then I guess really from the rest of November into January, I had taken like a break from doing pretty much anything creative. I was just trying to recover from that full-on like assault that I had just come out of. And then early on in January was when I first got the contact about publishing We Found Infinity. And that took over at that moment, like at least a week of me being like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this. I don't know what I'm doing at all.
Is the story ready to do this?
There was one, is the story ready to do this? 2, am I good enough to do this? 3, like what the hell? Where did this come from? This came from nowhere. All right. If we're gonna do this, I have to get ready for some life changes. Like I have to really dedicate to getting this thing finished. And then that happened, and alongside of that, I had like a week or 2 of celebration. And then it was like, okay, stress. Now it's time to stress. We got to fix things. We got to start working. I work for like 2 weeks and then get sick for the majority of the next like 5 months at least. And that was, damn, I hated that. That might have been legitimately the worst 5-month stretch of my life.
And now we come up on these last 3 days that have been pretty tiring because it's just been constant eye strain from editing the whole time, because I decided I was going to go ahead and try to do that Star Wars channel. And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to start on my channel too. So you've been editing a video for that channel, Alec Reviews Things, for 2 days now, and it's still not done, but it is a very hefty project that you're working on, and you said you're going to have that probably finished to go up tomorrow?
Yeah, that's definitely going to go up tomorrow. Like I said, it's pretty much, it is done. I've seen ways as I was editing to go back and improve and make things uniform, just make everything look the same, the way that I want it to, that I didn't know what I was going to do when I started. So there's something there. There's like, I could upload the video and it wouldn't be missing anything. It's just going to be better for me going back and changing like, I don't know, 5 or 6 little things that have been a little out of character with the other stuff.
Saying I already had all these types of ideas of what I was wanting to do with my channel. Mm-hmm. And I went ahead and got that up. It already has 8 subscribers and the video has about 35 views. So that's about as average as my current channel gets. So like I feel like I haven't lost anything. We'll see what happens in the coming videos that come out after that, because I don't know what that schedule is going to be like. And I find it funny that work has absolutely just devastated my work schedule at home to make all these types of content. And now I'm put in charge of 2 channels and co-hosting a 3rd channel.
Mm-hmm.
I have TikTok content that I still like to make, but I haven't done that in probably close to a month now. So I got to get back on that. I just keep adding more content to the shit that I can't already do. And I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? What is going to be the end outcome of this? I'm going to just lose my mind.
Thankfully, I think something like this helps us be a little more relaxed about it. Like, with this podcast, we're already a day late in recording it. Usually we would have recorded this last night and then put it up this morning. But, like, it's fine. When you treat it this way, when it's just you're doing it because you love it, and you're not putting any type of deadline or expectation on it, like, suddenly the pressure feels off and you can just hang out and enjoy it. I mean, last week was a fucking mess on this podcast. That was a weird, strange episode, but it was fun and we had a great time doing it. So, like, what does it matter?
Right. Especially, like, we had wanted to film this yesterday night, but you had also been editing for like 8 hours without even realizing it.
It was 6 straight hours of just going through the edit. And then I stopped and was like, I think that's done. And then as I started to think about it more, I was like, there are a few things I could fix. Okay, yeah, I should probably fix those. And then I ran out of gas. I went to sit down and pull the program back up, Premiere, and nope. And just everything left me. And I was like, all right, we're going to just put a pin in it. This has been 2 days of more than 5-hour stretches of editing. Yeah, I just need a moment to decompress and come back to it tomorrow with fresh eyes.
Right, and then I ended up going with, I came home Tuesday night. Or actually, no, I started it Monday of this week. I started working on the banner and all that stuff for the channel. Finished that up Tuesday night, and then Wednesday I filmed my first video. And that took pretty much the whole day to make, because I decided there was a bunch of other things I wanted to try to do to it. So I've started to learn After Effects to start making some like intros and some stuff, some more above what I've already been doing. I was like, if I want to try to get better at this, I'm going to have to try to learn After Effects. And it's kind of fun, but I know I've only scratched like 0.00000000001% of what After Effects is actually used for.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be a whole nightmare. But as an end result, the content that I put out, it's getting better.
Yeah, and I think everything that you've done with it so far has come out well. Like, even if you are only dipping a pinky in, like, it's been worth it. It's produced something worth using. So.
I was gonna say, it's already showing that I at least know what I'm doing to some extent. So I mean, I might as well try to learn the rest of what I can actually do with it.
Yeah.
And even then, like, editing the first video I did for my channel in Premiere goes back to the top 10 videos that I did a while back, which were great videos, but they took like a whole day to make. So now I was sitting there trying to edit, put a bunch of, it's basically, even though it's just a glorified picture show, but I mean, there's a lot of explanation that goes into what I'm doing, and it takes like 5 hours to gather everything I need to put into the video to start putting it all together to make it work.
Yeah, and that's what this intense editing period for me has been like as well. I'm essentially making that same kind of video that's just a overly produced picture show. But
yeah.
If you've never done it, you don't realize how much time it truly takes and what you have to do to put that kind of thing together. I think on my desktop, I counted it, I think this morning, there's like 37 or 38 images that are just on my desktop from that one video, and I repeated some of them in the video. So it should have been like 50 or more.
I had about 50, and then I did not get rid of them before I started getting pictures for the other videos that I've been putting out.
Yeah.
So my desktop was just full of pictures
just
from
chaos.
Google, and I was like, I need to empty my recycling bin too, because I know that's just full of stuff I just don't need.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have multiple programs in my recycling bin right now that I just haven't deleted.
That's the other thing too, because now that I've started to save stuff in program, because I want to come back and like try to fix it later, I've got a bunch of files. I got a bunch of Premiere files and After Effects files that are just going to be sitting on my desktop, because I'm eventually going to have to hop back into those, pull in stuff that I've already worked on and add to it or take away from it and try to make stuff better. And it's just like, I like to keep my desktop clean and minimal. And it's just, the second I clean it, it's full again.
Yeah. I cleaned mine before starting work on that video. and now it's back to being almost completely full again. And I'm like, how is this possible?
There's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's because
and it's never going to get any better, you know. And I should probably start using my second monitor to hold everything over on this side, because I have all my actual like desktop icons on my left monitor.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna have to start shoving everything to the right side, so I know you got to keep this stuff and delete this stuff. Because don't delete all of this stuff in one massive like click, drag, sweep, and then hit delete, because then you're just gonna screw yourself.
Yeah. I made a sweeping deletion on Premiere, working on that video. And then was like, all right, cool, that's fine. And clicked ripple delete, which just pushes two pieces of the timeline together, ignoring, you know, as long as there's space to put them there, they'll bring it together.
Right.
What I forgot was some of the barriers were only like video or only audio. And so if I was going to smush everything together, it was going to take everything and put it out of place.
Yep.
I did that.
Because it was going to connect everything like a puzzle.
Yeah. I did that, got about 35 or 40 mini edits in, just like little micro edits.
Oh no.
And then found the part that got smushed together and was like,
this isn't right.
When did I do this? What is this? And I listened to it back and was like, oh, I can't fix this without ruining everything I just did.
Yeah, I have to back it up about 40 clicks.
Okay, and so what I managed to do to salvage that was I moved all the stuff that was ruined. I just took and pushed it to a different part of the timeline. Went through and made sure all the stuff before that was still in place, like right where I needed it to be. And then individually built back the section using the stuff that I already made. I just put it right back in the right correct spots or whatever. And then examined what came after that. Was like, did anything else get messed up after it? Thankfully, all the stuff towards the end was fine. It was all already connected. I just had to move it back to where it belonged. But there was like a minute and a half that I had to go back in and be like, okay, the audio's in the right spot. The video isn't. Okay, drag that back, so on and so forth. And then got to a point where I was like, okay, and now the video is fine, but the audio isn't. So I have to switch this clip and drag that out and push it back and play it back. And okay, well, nope, now it's kind of slightly messed up, so let me just perfect it and drag all the other stuff back in and play back the whole 10-minute video. All right, cool. We're back to where we should be 2 hours later after I had to do that. It's like, I'm losing my mind. I'm actually going insane.
And I had that moment last night when right before I uploaded it, because I was showing you the product. Mm-hmm. And at one point, like there's a random music cut in. I was like, at what point did I do that? When I was like clipping the music, I ended up dragging it into the layer right above it, and it cut into my audio. So I just stopped talking, and the music started playing, and I was like, when did I do that? I'm not that dumb.
It's just mid-sentence. Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this video. And then it was just music kicked in, and I was like,
that can't be right.
There's no way that's correct.
No, because it was just a huge chunk, and I was like, that's not supposed to go there.
Yeah. I'm excited to actually get this thing finished and perfected and put up, though. One, because I just don't want to look at it anymore. And two, it's just nice to make something. I haven't done anything like this in a while, so it's nice to...
Right, and I think these two channels are going to be, well, the same, mostly similar to the content we've made before. They're going to be different in their own ways, and I think that's going to be great. And those two channels, we'll put links to them in the description down below, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we got, your channel is going to be called Alec Reviews Things, and it's supposed to be a mix of just your personal feelings about everything.
Yeah, for the most part. I'm sure it'll stay to, like, entertainment mostly, so on movies, books, music, maybe even video games, if I can find a way to incorporate that in a way that makes sense. But yeah, it's really just kind of, I'm trying to... Really, the problem is I have a lot of in-depth thoughts about things, and I go on rabbit holes where I explore and try to learn everything I can about a subject, and then I don't have anyone to tell that information to. Like,
you just have it.
Yeah, I just have this useless amount of super complex and deep information about a subject, and I have nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, I can, tell my friends parts of it, and that'll make sense to a degree. Like, to them, it'll be like, oh, that's nice. But there comes a point where, like, telling someone about something, you have to introduce them to the topic, Then you have to introduce the complex stuff about the topic. And then what you really want to do is explain all of the complexities of the complex stuff. That's not something people want to sit through. It's not something you should make people sit through.
It's literally every child ever explaining something they just saw on TV to their parents.
Yeah, literally that same effect.
Me trying to explain anything Star Wars related to my mom, like, and now I'm at a point where I understand. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you something that's Star Wars related. Here's a little bit of background so you kind of get an idea of what I'm telling you.
Yes. And literally in my video, that's a point in the beginning where I'm like, hey, before we get in, it's important to understand what I'm talking about and where it's defined. So here's this other video where someone does that way better than I can.
Oh, yeah,
Go listen to it.
I saw that.
For this video, it's Lindsay Ellis's explanation on PBS Voices about what young adult literature is. And it's a great video. It leaves out a few what I would consider very important things, but otherwise it's very well produced. She's very smart. The team behind it is obviously incredible because it's PBS. There was just no way I could have made that video any better than they did. So it's just like, to skip this whole me telling you what to think about something or whatever, just go over there, listen to it, form your own opinion, and then come back and hear mine.
Yeah.
That was what the video was. And it's literally that whole process of just being like, now you've been introduced to the thing. Here's why it's complex. And here's why I like that. That's just in real life, there's not much of an audience for that unless your friends are super nerdy. My friends are super nerdy, but in respect of their time. Yeah, it's like about different things too. Like we all have the things that we like super geek out about. For you and me, it's mostly Star Wars, but it's also, anything like Marvel, DC based.
Yeah.
There's some video game things. There's some book things. For me and Charlie, it's the Dresden Files are something that we are super, super into. D&D stuff we can super get into. For me and Brian, it's sports, like any type of he's got a deeper chain of knowledge than I do. Most of my knowledge is like post 2000. But if it's anything contained within the sports world post 2000, yeah, I can keep up in any of those conversations and I like having them. But when it's something super specific and niche and one very long, that's a 10-minute video and I edited out pretty much every breath. So it's mostly just information.
It was just a long strand of information. Hope you brought your notebooks because we're going to be taking notes this class.
Yeah, and I did my best to simplify it all. But at the end of the day, it's still a little advanced and a little pretentious. Advanced in the this is not common entertainment. Not that it's like, I'm so smart for knowing this. No, it's literally just that this is an educational video.
And that's kind of what I'm doing with mine because I decided to make a separate Star Wars channel because that's just the one thing I know the most about.
Yeah.
I'm still, the movie content that I make on my home channel, I still love and I enjoy doing it. But I come to a point where I just know there's a lot more that I know about the Star Wars universe as a whole than I do about any of the movies that I'll be talking about. So I was like, I should do a separate channel so I can go into more that's not just the movies. Because every time I was talking about, all the fan theories and all the stuff about the new movies coming out, I always brought up, this is from this game, this is from this book, this is in correlation to this from, shit that no one's going to know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to have that separate channel where I can go into that stuff in more detail and talk about everything A to Z. That's why I'm calling it Star Wars from a complete point of view. It is a play off of the phrase from a certain point of view. And it's not to say that it's complete, that I know everything, but it's just covering all bases from legends to canon, from books, movies, games, video, games, TV shows, the movies, all of it.
Yeah, and even inside
and
that
I just
name,
want it as a... Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, even inside your name, from a complete point of view, for someone to understand what that means when you're saying it's from canon to legends, there's a whole background of information that you should probably know to know that kind of thing. And then to go further into it with video games, comic books, movies, books, whatever, there's a whole another layer of information there that it's not right for your channel, your main channel.
Right.
That's your audience, sure, is film people, but not every film person is a Star Wars person. So for your depth of knowledge, big thing, it makes sense.
I have friends that support my channel and they watch my content. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about, but your content is fantastic. And I'm like, thank you.
I don't know what
Like,
you're talking about, but you're talking about it very well. So I'm just going to keep looking.
It's like my friend T. I love her to death. You were know her too, but like she knows what Star Wars is, but she doesn't know nearly as much as I do, and probably don't need to know.
Yeah.
So she'll watch the video. She's like, "Oh, I love it. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love it." I was like, "I appreciate that." So I was like, if I have a second channel where I can deep dive into that, where an audience that are like, yes, I understand, and then be able to fill in the blanks, because I don't know everything Star Wars, and that's another reason why I wanted to make this channel to, as like you said, it's an educational purpose for your channel, which is kind of what I want to do. To help the viewer maybe learn something they didn't know, as well as teach myself something along the way, because I'm going to have to do a lot of research into what I want to talk about and just add to my already pre-existing knowledge, which is tackling the entire Legends series of books, which is about 172, I think.
Yeah, I saw somebody comment in the Star Wars book page that we're both in that they owned like 160 something of them, I think.
So there's 170 something of the Del Rey line, at least.
Yeah. Pretty sure I saw somebody talk about how they're only missing like a handful of them, like maybe just a few more than 10.
I saw someone say that there was only 110. I was like, that's
absolutely incorrect.
Someone was like, how many total across everything? I was like, well over 400.
Yeah.
And that includes baby picture books. Like, if you want every single book, well over amount that I can count.
Yeah, there's so many like junior novels or like introductions to Star Wars or
say the junior novelizations, books. Fucking picture books, sticker books, anything that has pages.
Yeah. What was the Young Jedi books from
the young Jedi books that people say like fit into the Del Rey line perfectly, somewhere in between the New Jedi Order and something else, I think. Again, stuff that I need to talk about on my channel, because everyone watching is like, I don't know what any of that meant.
Yeah, but it's just, and this is going back to what I was saying. Like, we can nerd out about these kinds of things, particularly Star Wars. We can go in depth to the point of like alienating most people on Earth.
And I know the channel, I could see it growing very well and growing over my channel that I already have. It will be difficult considering there are many channels that do the exact same thing that I'm trying to do, two most notably being Star Wars Explained and Star Wars Theory. You can add more. You could add The Den of Geeks, Hello Greedo, Star Wars HQ. They're all fantastic. I'd like to try to do that thing. And I know at times the Star Wars community, as far as like YouTube goes, can be very vicious. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not going to stop it regardless. Like, I'm going to enjoy the content I make. And I would like to be able to, be known as one of those guys that knows a lot about Star Wars. All my friends know me as that guy, and I just want to keep that going. If I end up getting a job in Star Wars, it'll be because of this. It'll take me probably 20 years, but I'll do it.
For me, I think the main thing behind making this channel was just like, I've forgotten a little bit, because high school kind of beat it out of me, how much that I really do like learning about not everything, but a wide depth or wide breadth of things, just like casually. If I can just click on a Crash Course Literature video and have John Green or whoever explain to me, like, yeah, here's this poem by Emily Dickinson or whatever, and here's why it's regarded as one of the best ever, and here's what it really means. I'll listen to that and be like, that was really cool. I'm glad I watched that.
Right.
And then
because learning at your own pace is fantastic. Being told you have to learn this is like, well, now I don't want to.
For me, it wasn't even like I was cool with learning all the things I learned in school. It was just the schedule. Having to be there at 7 a.m. learning did not work for me. I've never been an early morning person, and it kind of just slowed me down really heavily, particularly because English and writing were kind of the only things I was super interested in, other than music and band. We were both band kids. Other than that, I wasn't really super tuned in to anything else. History was fun. Science was okay.
I hate science.
Like, I'm not particularly good at it.
Like my freshman and sophomore year, English was the first class I had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read first thing in the morning. You know what I want to do first thing in the morning?
Sleep?
Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
See, I was always okay with reading. It was all the other stuff.
I didn't learn to read until I was 22.
It's just like being in class and they'd be like, okay, we have 30 minutes of just free reading time. That was me being like, yes, easy day at the office. Like,
See, and that was the thing though, because like I always made that joke, is like I only learned how to read at the age of 22, which was I learned how to retain what I was reading.
yeah.
Which I find weird because I wrote so many papers on books that I read in my AP language and AP literature class, and I understood them enough to write a paper and get B's in both those classes. But fuck if I don't remember anything. Like, I remember some of the titles and that's it.
That's fair. I think that's also another problem with standardized education and being just in an environment that's not comfortable to learn in. Like, you have those cases where it was like, if someone in your situation truly just was not comprehending anything that they were reading, it would have taken a while to even identify that for a lot of teachers, because it would have been easy to just be like, what's this? Okay, I'm supposed to look this up. Okay. I can't do this in class, but if I go home and go look up what the book's about, I could probably write a paper that's similar enough to get a grade. Or
And I mean, like, it doesn't help when, you're, like, for me, freshman in high school, and, like, they're like, we're going to be reading the original script for Hamlet. And I'm like, okay. And then you're like, I can't understand half of this, mainly because it's written in Shakespearean, so.
yeah, it's the old English style, and it's like, this is more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Not really his fault. Like, it's just how things shook out in the future that made this impossible to get through.
Which is why, like, I think some of the material that we learn in our English and reading courses throughout high school, while important, need to be updated. This is an opinion, because I am not a teacher, and I have no right to choose that kind of stuff. But, like,
I see the worth of teaching old things. I understand why we consider it important, but I think some of the things specifically that we teach, some of the manuscripts that we look at, either need to have better context or need to be replaced. I do agree with that.
Yeah, like, the Scarlet Letter. Who cares? Who cares? Oh, what's the other book? Is it Jane Eyre? Or is that an author? I don't...
No, Jane Eyre's a book, but like Pride and Prejudice is another one that's very popular. Like there's certain texts.
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
See, there's some of them that I think like, yeah, these are classics worth examining, and I think they're super useful for anyone who does want to get further into anything involving writing or reading later in life. Like if you're specifically going into like an English field, or want to be a teacher, or want to be a storyteller of some kind, these classic stories provide you a template. They're not specifically, some of the lessons aren't specifically useful. Like if you're reading Little Women, it's not like, we don't need to worry about our sister dying from scarlet fever necessarily in the US in 2020, but
yeah,
you get the idea of the book, about what it meant for women at that time, and why people still find immense amounts of like freedom in reading something like that. They find something they really connect with. But at the same time, we do read, like, if you read more than one Shakespeare thing in high school, like, you might just be wasting your time reading the second one.
That was the other thing too that I was like, I didn't know if that was just supposed to be the focus of it, but my English 1 class in my freshman year, I only read Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. That's all we did. We read, my freshman year, we read just about everything. We didn't actually read Hamlet, even though I mentioned that. I own it. Mm-hmm. But we read Romeo and Juliet and a bunch of others. I don't even remember them all. And I didn't read, like, I read Othello and Macbeth, like, my senior year. So, like, it was spread out, but everything we read, and I think the last thing we read was Beowulf.
Beowulf is something else.
It's weird.
Yeah. That one's...
This is like, there's got to be something else you can add to it that's more relatable now than it was, in 1902.
Or dating much farther back than that.
Because, like, and you also have to think about the argument of, like, certain books that have to be banned from schools and all that, because you got... I don't want to say half, but you got a good majority of people in the world that are like, The Catcher in the Rye makes you kill people, and then schools are like, you're going to fucking read it. And then you read it and you're like, apparently some dude killed John Lennon over this book? What the fuck?
Yeah, the crazies are everywhere. That's not something we can avoid. But
I was gonna say, and then everyone puts the stigma on the book. It's like, well, they read this book, and then the book told them to go do this thing, and I'm like, that's bullshit. The book didn't tell them anything.
you know what the book told them? All the words that are on the pages of the book. That's what the book told them.
Yeah, like that's it.
I read Catcher in the Rye a couple of times. I don't remember it saying "kill John Lennon" anywhere on the title page, anywhere in the contents of the book. I must have skipped over that the 3 times that I read Catcher in the Rye.
Aren't there 2 instances of that? Like someone read Catcher in the Rye and then they ended up trying to go murder someone?
I have no idea, but it's possible.
I know there's another one. I can't think of what it is, but it's like it's like, what if I read Catcher in the Rye? It's okay.
I get it. It Holden Caulfield hat, people hunting hat. Yeah, you get it. It's I see why they use that as a scapegoat. Seems more like a legal thing to me than a whatever. It's not important.
I don't know. Some of the books are weird, but speaking of books, I do want to know how interested you are that the jumping back to some Star Wars stuff for a little bit. We've been waiting on the High Republic for a while, and Charles Soule's book, Light of the Jedi, is going to be the first in the Del Rey line for the High Republic, being released in January. Del Rey announced yesterday that they're going to be releasing the first 8 chapters of that book online, free to read with no time limit, to hold us off until the book comes out in January. I think this is I think it's an odd decision. I was like, 8 chapters, that's a good amount. That's much more than a little bit of a teaser. I wonder why they're doing that. I guess it's just trying to like build the hype back up as they're trying to get everyone ready for the release in January. But what do you think of that?
I think it's a smart decision because while 8 chapters is a lot of material for one book, they're looking at this for the High Republic in general, and this is a flood of content that's coming. So 8 chapters of one book is not going to be the determiner. This is just them being like, hey, come take a look at this. Here's what we're working with. Here's what the style of it is. And because that's the first thing coming, those 8 chapters are probably going to preface a lot of what we understand about the next stuff.
And I guess, as I said that, I kind of answered my own question in my head. And I guess just, for the general reader that is wondering if they're going to be interested in this or not, after reading those 8 chapters, I'm pretty sure you're going to get a feeling on whether or not, yes, I'm going to buy this book, or no, I'm not going to buy this book.
And even beyond that, if someone, like you said, there's no time limit. So if someone months from now finds a High Republic comic or another book and is like, oh, I don't really know anything about this, let me look it up. If that's the first thing they find, that's going to be a great hook for them to be like, oh, this is what's going on? Oh, this is what we're dealing with? Yes, absolutely. I'm in. Let me go grab that now.
Right.
I think it works out perfectly fine.
I remember I read the first chapter when they published that. I think it was earlier this year, I believe, because that's after it was announced that they were pushing everything to 2021. But I'm excited to see what these 8 chapters hold, because that's some pretty good content right there. Getting a first real look into the High Republic era. It's completely brand new. It's all new material. And it's just going to get us, you and I both, ready for what's to come in the next year. Shout out to our boy Kevin Scott. He's got his first issue of the Marvel comic series for the High Republic coming out January 6th, I believe.
That sounds right.
That's going to be awesome. You can pre-order that now for like $4, so you should check that out.
Shout out to Kevin Scott, Mr. Secret Door.
Mr. Secret Door. Kevin Scott is a author that we harass a lot on Twitter. Not actual like psycho harassment, but like, I'm a big fan of some of the stuff that he's done. And I talk with him constantly on Twitter, and we constantly had this joke that anytime, it was right when they were getting ready to announce the High Republic. And there was a lot of stuff that was going around with it. So we kept making the joke of the secret door, which if you're from our age group, you would know that from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There was the secret door in the house that held all the scribbles, which were all the imaginary friends that babies came up with. And Blue was obsessed with the secret door. So anytime he would post something that was very cryptic, we would just be like, secret door. And eventually he was like, all right, I give. What's the secret door? And I was like, it's a hidden vault that has everything we want in it, including all of the writings that you're doing, the Darth Bane trilogy. That's what it was. He was reading Darth Bane for research. I was like, this fucker's going to write a revamped Darth Bane. So we kept bugging him about that. He was like, the Darth Bane trilogy you claim you're not writing is in there. Lost Stars 2 by Claudia Gray is in there. Nick's dad is in there.
It's the Disney vault for all the things we've been hoping for.
Yeah, my hopes and dreams are in there.
My chances of success are in there. That's why this is happening currently.
Yeah, so like, and after I read the script of the audiobook Dooku Jedi Lost that he wrote, I was like, well, Kevin, here's the deal. We're best friends now.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
He's a good dude. Taking a quick step back to the high school thing, something I just thought of.
Yeah.
The Great Gatsby is another excellent example.
I was thinking about that one too.
Of a book that I did not like while reading it in high school. But then when I was able to read it on my own, I was like, oh, I didn't like this because you didn't give me the ability to recognize what was like actually important in this book. Like, I'm sure you had some type of guide that you were teaching from, and no disrespect to, I think that was junior year. I think that's, yeah, that sounds right. No disrespect to my junior year English teacher. She's a great lady, but I'm sure they were just given this like, hey, here's some options that you can teach. Pick one and do it. Like that's no shade to her, but in that environment, you just miss a lot of the better things about these classics that aren't necessarily evident even after examining the book pretty closely. If you're looking at the wrong parts of the book, you just won't ever see some of the right stuff. And so it took until the next year I read it on my own randomly. I was just sitting around the house and I was like, wait a minute.
And I think they really need to think about which books are truly important that we need to learn. And they all need to come to an agreement on that, because throughout high school and like my first 2 years of college, I read Frankenstein 4 times. Why did I have to do that?
That's just unfortunate. That's really all
I don't know if every school does it, but my school, we did like a trial. We finished the book and then we did a trial where half the class was basically the lawyers for the monster and the other half was for Dr. Frankenstein. We were trying to just like who was right and who was wrong in what they did, who should we accuse. I had to go through that trial twice.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It
was also pretty stupid. It was also stupid because they said that the monster was guilty of everything. Hold on. Was that the case? Yeah. They were saying the first time we went through it, I was on the defending side for Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side was obviously for the creature. And their whole argument was that none of this would have happened if Dr. Frankenstein didn't create the monster to begin with. And I'm like, that's fair. But because legal terms are real, in the book, at the very end, the creature specifically says, it's my fault, I did all of this. Which in court is enough to just be like, okay, he admits guilty, that's it, case closed. But no one wanted to fucking take that. And then we got to college and I was like, we can't hold this trial. And they're like, why can't we hold this trial? I was like, you can't try a dead man. And we ended class early. I was like, I know how to beat this now. I know how this is supposed to work. So we had that trial. And I was like, we can't do this. And he's like, why? He's like, you're wanting to try Dr. Frankenstein? He's dead. You can't do that.
What can we do to him? Have a seance?
Yeah. I was like, I wish I knew that in high school because I would have won that case, because they gave it to saying, yeah, Dr. Frankenstein's the guilty one here. And I'm like, that's no.
See, the admission of guilt only works when there's an evidence of no pressure. If it's not, a winded decision. So sometimes those quotes can be accepted, sometimes they can't. But yeah, being dead is a pretty good way to get out of any court case.
Yeah, if you hated English class in high school, you're going to love this podcast.
Yeah, that's if you hated English class in high school, we just probably don't see eye to eye on many things. Not that I loved English class. I liked the topics of English class.
I didn't like my English classes. My AP language and literature classes I liked because they were argumentative.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love to argue, so we could just shoot back and forth the whole time, and I was like, I'm in my happy place.
I think instead of Frankenstein, we did a similar thing for The Crucible by Arthur Miller, the Salem Witch Trials book.
I never read that one, but that's probably one I would have been interested in.
And it wasn't very long. We set up and we're like, all right, you guys are going to be arguing on behalf of this particular person, because there were multiple of these incidents.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do like a warm-up round where you're arguing before we have all the information, and this is kind of like the skewed picture looked like. And then at the end, when we still have more of a, it's a little vague, but we still have a lot more to go off of. Then we'll have another trial for the girl at the end. I don't remember her name. But I was like, all right, sure, shoot, let's do it. And both sides, when we came in, I was like, let me submit that magic is not real. No? No one likes that? All right. Cool. Well, I guess we're going to have to argue about this then. And then like, I was just reading through the book again in the back, being like, how can I twist someone's words into tripping them up and into this early? Got it. I just find little quotes and be like, yeah, but if you said this, then technically her life was under pressure, so I think that's self-defense. Brutal, but self-defense. We had these kinds of arguments we did it for a couple of books, I think, actually, but The Crucible is the one that I specifically remember just being like, magic's not real, case closed, let's all go home and call it. No one wants to. I'm going to have to sit here and listen to you guys condemn an innocent woman.
Right, this is high school. We have to stay in here for 90 minutes. Fuck.
All right, oh, damn. Somebody else go.
Somebody else go. I'm carrying this whole trial. I am Cochrane right now.
Yeah, those were fun. We also had like an English trivia. I think it was senior year. Maybe it was the end of junior year. But like a couple of the classes came together and we did like a trivia game about old books and literature stuff. And all of the stuff was fairly easy, so I knew most of it. But to not be that guy who was just like, here's a question, raise his hand, answer. Here's a question, does it again. I was just letting people take shots at it, and then I would answer if no one got to the right one. And then at the end, they're like, all right, bonus question. This one's worth 100 points. And I was like, oh, okay.
I need this question.
I guess I'm going to try to hear this question. And they asked, like, I don't remember, it was multiple parts, and you had to, like, you had to answer the right book to each part of the question.
Yeah.
And the team that filled in the most got the got the points. I let the other team just like rattle off all of their best guesses, and I think they got like one of the 7 right. I was just sitting there listening. I was like, okay, one of them is Ender's Game. That's for sure. That was like the second one. 100% Ender's Game. What's this next one? That's Of Mice and Men. Okay.
Good book.
Like, just listen. Gatsby. Okay, yep, got it. Because it was all like riddles essentially. Like you had to to break them all down. All right, that one I'm like 99% certain is Gatsby. And as it kept going down the list, I was like, oh, but is that Lord of the Rings? I think that was Lord of the Rings. Okay. Yep, got it. And they're like, all right, so red team, please give us your answers. Right here. Okay, number 1. I went down the list. I was like, and I got to number 6. I think it was. It was either 6 or 7. I was like, and I don't know what this one is, but I'm gonna. What's the one with the girl's name? Damn. Anna Karenina? And then you look like, that's not at all what that book is about. And I was like, never read it. No, don't know. Anyway, I got most of them. Anybody else? And then one girl in the back who had like not talked the entire time raised her hand and answered. She had the right one. And I was like, oh, look at that. Nice.
We win.
Good effort, team.
One of my favorite moments in any of my English classes was my senior AP literature class. We were going through a bunch of like definitions to understand how just English works. So like we were covering more recently we had the word syntax, which is just, the sentence structure. Mm-hmm. And Cody and I, my friend Cody, we were sitting next to each other in class. You know this story.
I think I've heard this, yeah.
And he looks at me, he's like, hey, what's because it was like, here's the definition. Tell us what word it is. It's one of those fill in the blank things. He's like, what's the word for sentence structure? And I was like, oh, the sentence, yeah, it's syntax. That can't be right. I was like, no, it's syntax. I remembered that one. He's like, I thought that's the stuff that explodes. I was like, no, that's semtex. Very different things. I'm not trusting you in the military. Syntax out.
What?
Structure.
And my we had a general trivia game in my math class junior year, and I had been answering all of the like nerdy fantasy stuff like within seconds of it being asked, and then they asked who was the I think they asked who was the actress who played alongside Orlando Bloom inside of Pirates of the Caribbean. And I was like,
my wife, Keira Knightley.
absolutely. But they asked, like, I think they asked for her character's name and the actress's name. And so, like, I raised my hand and then put it down and was like, hold on. I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? And like, as she asked the question, teacher like looking around, sees everyone else, and somebody's hand shoots up. She's like, okay, yeah, you. The guy answers, and I think he got Elizabeth, but he missed on Keira Knightley, I think is what the issue was. And I was still just sitting there in the back like, how am I doing this? How? Why do I not? This is embarrassing. To the point where the other teacher in the class just stared at me and was like, come on, Alec. You're there. I can see it in your head. You're getting there. And I was like, oh, yep, no, you're not helping. Not at all. Not even a little bit. And without even raising my hand, I just looked at the other teacher, Miss Bradley. I was like, it's Elizabeth. And she's like, yeah, but I need the actress's name. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting there. It's Elizabeth played by... God, she's pretty much Natalie Portman's stunt double. And like, that got a laugh out of a couple people. It's like, why am I blanking on it? And she's like, okay, we'll put this question. I think she's like, we'll put this one away. I'll just give you the answer in like 5 seconds if no one can pull it. I was like, oh, don't do this to me. Oh, don't put me under pressure. Oh, no.
We're going to need an answer in 5.
Oh,
4,
God.
3, 2.
Damn it.
1.
She has brown hair. And then it just went silent. And I was like, not my finest moment. Not my finest. It was Keira Knightley. And I'm like, Knightley! Damn it! That's... Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. That's my bad.
The governor's daughter, Elizabeth Swann, played by Keira Knightley, who also played the Queen's stunt double in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Thank you, Schmodown.
It's just that one moment. The only time I've ever choked in my life was just right there. It was just like...
It's the worst ones when you and I have like thought of someone and we can't think of their name. We're like, if I have to look it up, I'm a horrible person.
I'm a failure.
So like we'll just sit there in silence, just like...
It'll be 15 minutes of just dead silence where I'm sitting here like...
And then I'm just like, fuck it, I'll go to bed. And then I wake up and the first thing I think of the next morning, I'm just like, it's so-and-so. And then I'm like, hey, Alec, remember yesterday we were talking about... Yeah, it's actually Zach Bradford or whatever.
Yeah. That,
And they're like, oh, right, because he's also in this, and this. And we're like, yeah.
That's the worst shit, especially like when it's just something that like I know I'm the only person in the room that knows. And like you or Charlie or somebody will ask me a question like, well, what are they playing? What are they? I'm like, just shut up for a second.
Yeah. Everyone's like, okay, well, what else were they in? Did they do this? I'm like, I don't need to hear any other words right now. I need to focus on this person's face until I pull the answer out of the depths of my brain.
I'm going to be so disappointed in myself.
I will be pissed to high hell if I don't get this right. Just shut up.
Yeah, that's
JTE rule. Give it again. Give it again.
Do it again.
Give me the line again, quick, while it's fresh in my mind.
The only other time that I've even come close to having a moment like that, there was a Harry Potter trivia at my library when I was in like 8th grade. Or I think it was younger than that. I think it was in 6th grade. And I came in, knew all the answers like right away. We got down to the last question, and it was like, name as many of the magical species from the Harry Potter books as you can. And I heard the girl next to me count how many she had, and we were at the same number, but I think she had one more than me. I think was like she was writing one down after she counted like the 18 or however many it was. I don't know for sure. However many she had. I was like, what am I forgetting? If she has another one, that means there's another one. What am I forgetting? Oh, damn. Oh, I'm going to look real stupid. I was talking some mad shit right before this. Ah, Jesus.
Ah, fuck.
Oh, no. And I went back through my head and was like, book 1. Quick flip through. Just like Galaxy Brain. Go. Every creature mentioned in the book. Think I got him. Cool. 2. Okay, I think I got him. 3. And just going down the line. And I think I missed... It might have been a Grindylow. That might have been the one that I hadn't written down.
Oh, yeah, the Grindylow? The weird fucking water things?
Yeah, the little water creatures. But I just remember being there at the end being like, what am I? I've got everything. I've got, hippogriffs. I've got mirror people. I've got the basilisk. I've got freshly plucked corn as pixies. I've got everything.
Angela?
Yeah, I've literally, I had the whole list. Like, what? And then, like, as it was, I don't remember if it was Grindy Low or not, but I just, like, they were like, all right, and turn in your ballots now. And I was like, that's all of them. That's literally all of them.
Which one was the one you were missing?
I think it was Grindy Low, I think. But I just, it was one of the smaller ones anyway. But I was like, I think that's it. Handed it in. The guy starts to read them back. He's like, all right, so it looks like the final results are, and he goes to like, all of the people who did like just okay on it, or whatever, and he starts building his way up. He's like, and the last two, he looks at me and the girl behind me, were like, tied with 100% accuracy, and we just looked at each other like, oh, okay, cool, fantastic. Go up there and get him, and he just stops and looks and goes, guys, there wasn't space for all of them on the paper. How did you both get all of them on the paper? Very cleverly. And also I used the back. He's like, oh, hell, you did, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, I wasn't about to let that one get away from me. He's like, no, seriously, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a whole list, an official list. That's all of them. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like what happened when we went to the Star Wars trivia night at one of the bars here.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, there's a Star Wars trivia night. You guys gonna go? I was like, no, I'm gonna go win.
I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna destroy them.
They had people over there in costume. They're like, oh yeah, we totally got this. And I was like, no, you don't. You don't. I'm the guy. And we missed 2 questions, and that still pisses me off. But we still won.
We missed 2 questions, but one
we
of
had
them
like
was
a 20-point lead.
Question. That
science question was dumb. I can't remember the point of it, but it was like, what material made out of these periodic table elements is something that makes Bespin flammable? And I was like, what the fuck kind of question did you just ask me? The question was, the answer was carbonite, and I was like, who?
Yeah, I know.
Shit made no sense. And then we missed the what race is Darth Maul because Charlie would just not fucking budge on. He's like, I'm telling you, Charlie. He's like, I thought it was this. And I was like, no, it's not.
Oh, no, he's like, he talked us down from Zabrak. And I was like,
yeah, he's a Zabrak.
And he's like, no, I don't think it's that. I was like, Charlie, he's from Dathomir, so he's Dathomirian. But what else could he be? And yeah,
wasn't he saying like Iridonian or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it was Iridonian.
No.
I think that's what it was.
I was like, no, he's not. And then they're like, and the answer is Dathomirian Zabrak. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he just looked like, all right, nope, that's all on me. And I was like, yeah, it was. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if we lose, I'm kicking your ass in the parking lot.
but
we won by like
20.
We had a 20-point lead. I was like, we're not losing. It's impossible.
Yeah. Because
like we were answering the questions before they even got before they got the question out, or before they got the whole answer out. We had just like, yep.
The table next to us at one point, like a question got asked and they were like, what the hell? Like I heard one of them just being like, nope, no idea. And then you and I both just like ducked down to talk about it at that exact moment. He looks over and goes, Jesus. I was like, yeah.
I was like, look, I know I have a problem. I can stop anytime that I want, but I'm not going to.
I could, but that seems like a foolish thing to do.
I could, but I won't.
That was a fun day. I think
it was good because we won.
Pretty sure I called in to work just to go to that.
I had nothing going on.
I either called in or left early just so I could go.
But Charlie said he'd buy me a drink, and I was like, all right, we're going. So I had an old fashioned, and I won some Star Wars trivia.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think, pretty sure I just had a thing of sweet tea. And was just like, I'm just here to Star Wars.
We're just booling it, man. Yeah. We're just chilling.
Just hanging out. Yeah, I definitely did leave work for that. Because I was there for like 2 hours, and then I started looking at the clock and was like, I don't want to do this. I'd rather be at Star Wars trivia. I'm just going to leave. And so I found a manager and was like, I gotta go. He's like, everything okay? And I was like, yep, gotta leave. He's like, okay, I'll let everybody know. And I was like, have a good one. And just
Booked at home.
Nope. Didn't want to tell him what I was doing. Didn't really say much about it. I got out, and then it was about a week later. Our picture ended up on the bar's like a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Instagram or something. But one of my coworkers saw it and was like, I know what night this was. And you weren't here that night, despite being on the schedule. And I was like, yes, that true story. I was not.
Like, yeah.
He said, did you leave work to go to Star Wars trivia? And I was like, here's the thing about me. If you didn't automatically assume that's exactly what I did, you don't know me very well at all.
For legal reasons, I have to say no.
Yeah. I straight up told them once, I was just like 2 weeks or I was like 2 months in advance, and I was like, the night that Endgame comes out, I will not be here. Do not schedule me. I will not be here the whole day, actually. I will not going to work that morning, not going to work that night. Do not have me on the schedule. I just simply will not be here. And they were like, but what if we need you to work? I was like, that's tough.
Yeah.
Hate to do that to you, except I'll be there.
2 months in advance for you to figure this out.
Literally any other day. I already get
naturally,
like
what was
a day
it, like
off.
The
anyway.
day before?
Mm-hmm.
The day before? Yeah.
Like 2 days before, they were like, well, you can't do this and you got to be here. And I was like, no. Your rules suggest that I should be here. The reality states that I will not be here. I've had my ticket for a month and a half. And yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, because she was like, what was the reason? It was like they went through the wrong manager or something like that.
No, it was, I think that because I was technically part-time, I wasn't allowed to request a certain type of day off, and that's what they used. And I was like, that doesn't matter to me at all. I'll just call in then. That's fine. And she's like, so you're going to call in to go see a movie? And I was like, no, I'm going to call in to have an experience, and one that I don't really have to tell you about. But I simply just know that I will not be here. And that's all it boils down to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you got to do to make it make sense to you. But I'm gone.
It's like, no, but we're going to need you to work that day.
It's like, well, you're going to need a lot of things after I quit. But sorry about it. I was not going to be here. And then I quit that job shortly after.
I'll say that was my favorite part, because every time when you told me this story, you were just like, no. Listen to me. I don't care what you're telling me. I will not be here.
Literally. It's like, there's no... I understand that there's repercussions for my actions. I'm a grown man. Totally got that. Wouldn't have made it this far without it. But just whatever you got to do, whether that's mark me with whatever point system or what, I don't care. I will not be here. That's... No, can we stop talking about it now? She's like, well, I just wanted you to know that I'm done. There's no more interaction for me in this conversation. Whatever you got to do. Sorry about it. Not gonna
be here.
Yeah, and then I think it was like 2 days after or something that I ended up leaving that job. So,
say, because wasn't she like, you said that and she's like, okay, well then how about you just not work the rest of this week? And you're like, okay.
Yeah, just like
it's like 14 hours.
It literally was like less than 20 hours. I was like, oh no. I'll be able to see one less movie. That's fine. Whatever.
Oh, people.
Yeah, that was real dumb. But I don't regret that part at all, because we got up that day. I think I woke up kind of late. Pretty sure everybody was already at the apartment ready to go, and I walked out and was just like, oh, I'm slowing everyone down. Okay, yep, got it. Getting dressed, and we're out. I'm pretty sure I was like ready to see Endgame at like 9 in the fucking morning.
People were at the apartment by like 10 for sure. We were fucking ready because like it's a whole day thing. You know, we go to town, we go to the mall, we go to the bookstore, we have a good time, and then we go to the movie. So we were ready to go at like, I'm pretty sure I woke up at like 7 a.m. just out of excitement. I was like, all right.
Yeah, because we weren't there.
Is everyone ready to go? Is everyone ready? Are we not ready? Why are we not ready? What the fuck? Oh, right, 7 in the morning.
I think we were in town by like 1 o'clock or something. Maybe by like the end of
we were pretty early, and the movie didn't start until 7.
Yeah,
because 6 or 7.
We were just walking around the mall for a couple of hours, if I remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, okay, now that our dumbasses got here so early, we have to kill 5 hours.
And then I went back the very next day. Like we got home pretty late that night. I woke up, Charlie was ready to go. He didn't get to see it the night before. And so I was like,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
sure. And so I just hopped in the car. We did the whole 45-minute trip again, met up with a friend, went into the theater, and just watched that 3.5-hour juggernaut again.
Was it you and Brian, or was it Brian and Nick that tried to see it like the next morning and it was still sold out?
That was Brian and Nick. They went to like a 7 o'clock screening and it was still sold out.
Yeah, and they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was funny as hell. Because I remember we got the group chat. They're like, anybody want to come see it with us? And I was unconscious.
Yeah, it was like 9 a.m. and it was like, by the time it was like, I'm sure Alec wants to see it again. I was like, I'm sure he does, but it is not possible for us to get there in time.
Yeah. But I already knew Charlie was going, so we went to Chick-fil-A and then over to the movie theater.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Fantastic. Got home a little disoriented because I had just spent, another like 5 hours investing into that movie between the sitting in the theater before it started and the 45-minute drive there and back. Got home, it was like 6 o'clock, and it was just like, oh yeah, oh man, where did today go?
Yeah, which Star Wars movie did we see where they let us in like an hour early?
That was that a Star Wars movie? Solo, was that it?
It was, I can't remember. We had really good like middle row seats. I remember that, and everyone was just hanging out. We like pulled up the phone. We started watching episode 7 on my phone.
I want to say that was Solo.
I think because of where we were seated, it was Solo. Because I know for The Last Jedi, we were in the back of the theater.
Yeah, we were towards the back.
For Rogue One, we were kind of in the middle, but we were off-centered a little bit.
I don't remember the first experience with Rogue One like at all in theater. Like, I remember loving the movie while watching it, but I saw it 2 or 3 times. And
because we saw it like the next day because you got off work and then we went to go see it.
That's the only one that I actually clearly remember. The other one, it's kind of just blocked out of my memory because that was another like 12-hour day.
Yeah.
And then Fantastic Beasts 2, we were in the theater for like, like an hour and a half before the movie started.
Oh, that was another one for Fantastic Beasts. They let us in so damn early because they're like, just put them in the theater. We can't have this giant line out here.
And that made the movie so much worse for me. I needed to just stand up and go do something like halfway through the movie.
Oh, that was the problem for Fantastic Beasts because, and with Solo, I'm pretty sure, because for both movies, as soon as the movie started, I had to pee, and I was like, I'm not getting up. I'm not going to miss a second of this movie. And by the time everyone's like, oh my God, the movie was amazing, I was like, please move.
Yeah,
my bladder is broken.
I remember by the end of Solo, you just kind of looked down the line, like, can we move? And I was like, yeah, let's everyone go.
I was like, all right, cool. Can we please move? I couldn't stand up straight. I remember I was like slightly leaning forward because I was just like, my stomach hurts so bad I have to pee. And literally, like, I got done. I could feel my back like slowly start to stand up. I was like, oh, nice.
For me with Fantastic Beasts, it was just my ass fell asleep like an hour before the movie started. And then I was in like physical pain after that for the next like 2.5 hours. And so by the time it got done, I was like, oh God, the movie was terrible and I went through this? Oh, this is terrible. Oh God, I need a refund.
This is bullshit.
I hate this.
That's why I'm happy with The Mandalorian kind of being on Disney Plus right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to like I do miss going to the theater, but like having just an hour every Friday, it's nice.
It is a nice like break in the week to just be like, yes, the thing. But I just love the theater experience so much. Not so much like release day theater experience. Like, that is cool. Getting to do that several times a year is awesome. But just like being in the theater to watch a movie. Like, some of the most pleasant movie going experiences of my life have been for stuff that have been out for weeks, if not months. And like, I saw Detective Pikachu on like the 3rd week that it was open. And the theater was like, there's like 10 people in there. And so we just sat down and chilled.
And Endgame was another one where they let us in an hour early.
Yeah, we did go in pretty early for that one, didn't we? Yeah, because it was Infinity War that we saw here in town. And that one went in like 10 minutes before the movie started.
Right, and then after that, finally, it was with The Rise of Skywalker they decided to do sectioned seating.
Yeah.
So it was much less stressful, and I like that now because like I like the hype of standing in line and talking with everyone in the line about the movie. Like, when I saw The Force Awakens, I was outside and around the corner, and it was cold, and I was just like, can we go inside? It's cold, but God, that was so good.
I remember seeing the first Avengers movie in theaters and not realizing that it was the premiere night when we got there.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that it was coming out soon.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I just had no
You had
idea
the-
that we were walking in. That there would be like 3 lines to different theaters just all packed together in this like little lobby area. And so we go into, like, we've already had our tickets pre-purchased or whatever. So we go into the line, we go and get drinks, we go take our place in the line. And then behind me, suddenly there's like 90 people start piling in the door all at the same time. And it was just like, what the hell is happening? What is...
Is it just a busy day or what?
Yeah, I was like, what? Why are they so slow right now? In my head, not processing, like, oh, this is the debut showing. Because also it was later than the debut, like, should have been. Like, for some reason, their first showing of it was at like 9 o'clock instead of 7 or 8 or whatever. So it was later in the night, and I was just very confused. It was like, I've been to premieres before. They're not usually like this. What the hell is happening? I just was underestimating how big this movie was going to be. And so we're standing there with like the cups and, you know, all the memorabilia and shit. And it's just like, this is nice. This is fun. Didn't expect this. I was taking a nap 30 minutes ago and now I'm here. Didn't know we were doing this tonight at all. Awesome.
That was like our impulse decision to go see Doctor Strange in 3D. You're just like, I kind of want to see Doctor Strange tonight. Let's go do that. And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, okay, let's go. And I don't regret that at all. That was a beautiful movie-going experience.
Doctor Strange in 3D was insane.
Yeah, it was a little nutty. What else did... Oh, the most recent time that I just, like, said, fuck it, like, caution to the wind was when Annabelle Comes Home came out.
Oh, yeah.
I was just lying on the couch after work one day. I was just like, I want to go do something. Hey, Mitchell. Like, oh, those were... I enjoy those moments of just being, like, knowing that I have the time to just go do something and, like, not really worry about, like, anything else. Or that was for us, wasn't it, when I came home from work? I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
For what?
The movie Us, is what I'm saying. I think Annabelle Comes Home, I don't think it was work that I came home from. I think we were doing something else. But anyway, just those moments of being like, I have no idea what I want to do. Kind of want to watch a movie. Anyone want to go watch a movie? And like when someone's like down to just go do that, it's just great. Obviously, we haven't been able to do it for a while now, but...
And even if we could still now, I wish I just have the time to be like, yeah, sure, let's go see a movie.
I think now more so you will if your work schedule stays about what it's at.
I'm hopeful. Now I know my hours are shifting because we're staying open later, but I don't know. We'll see if that solidifies or not. And I'd like to get to a point where I'd be like, cool, these are my days off. Don't call me in.
Yeah. Damn, man, I miss movie theaters. I hate this.
Eventually, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope anyway. Is the tag of this hat out? It is. It's been like that the whole time, huh? Nice.
That particular hat, that tag likes to stay out all the time. I've considered cutting it out, but I was just like, meh. It's still out.
Cool. That's right. Can I do that? Will that work?
Yeah, that works.
Sure, fine, whatever. Cool.
God, I don't know if you saw my latest upload of my review of the Mandalorian episodes, but yeah, like my hair isn't like pulled back into the hat; it's all sticking out. And I was just like, how did I not see that?
It's fine.
I was like, I'm not shooting it again. I don't care.
My hair's been doing weird shit this entire time. I just kind of let it rock.
It is what it is. Nothing is planned. This podcast isn't planned. I wasn't planned.
Actually, I would assume I wasn't. I'm like 5 years younger than my oldest sibling, so I would assume not.
I think I was. I don't know.
I don't really want to know, so it's fine.
It's like my mom always used to tell me, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Classic.
You used to hear that one from
I sent that to her and she was like, I don't think I ever said that to you. And I'm like, probably not. I don't recall that. I think I'd remember something like that.
My dad definitely said that to me multiple times.
I mean, she has multiple times. She has definitely said like, what is wrong with you? Or what is the matter with you? But never, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, like, And in a tone of just like, why are you just not normal?
My mom gave me a strong what the hell one time, but I think it was because I broke something while throwing a drumstick around. Pretty sure that's what happened.
I know my mom, she's just developed the way she gets angry. So like when she's like, okay, dude, and like that means nothing to no one, but for some reason when she says it like that, I'm just like, fuck, what did I do?
Yeah, just ice, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, well, I guess I'll just leave and never come back. Because now I'm old enough that I can just leave and never come back, and I can just avoid this conversation now. Bye.
I have people that'll message me from time to time that are our age, 24, 25, and that thing. Like, my mom yelled at me today, and I was like, LOL, just stop listening. Just leave. You can do that now.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the thing. Like when you got in trouble as a kid, like you just had to sit there and take it. And then you just sat in your room, like, I wish I could just be anywhere but here. And now you're just like, anytime your mom gets mad at you, you're like, I can just leave. I live somewhere else.
If I was to like go visit my mom, this year, or like if I was to like go to a sibling's house and she was there and she yells at me, I'll just call an Uber and leave. Like it's not. This is easy.
I'm gonna make sure my mom knows that for Thanksgiving this year. I'll be like, Mom, there's no reason, but if for some divine power you get upset with me, I can just leave.
I just want you to know that after some careful thought, I've realized that I can just go.
You have no power here. I tell you the story about Cody sending that to his mom in high school.
I don't know. I don't think so.
He was laying in bed one morning and it was getting pretty late, and his mom was like, hey, you need to get up and start getting ready for school. And he just sent her that picture of oh God, what the hell's his name? Now I'm blanking. The king who says that?
Yeah, Theoden.
Theoden, yeah. And he was like, you have no power here. She's like, oh, I don't. He said, then he heard her coming up the stairs, so he flipped his mattress and hid under it. Comedy.
That's good.
It's good. It's a good time.
I think the only time I've ever done anything like that, like trying to hide from my mom, I dropped, I think it was maybe my drum pad or something. I dropped something heavy on the floor right after she had told us to be quiet for a moment. I think she's like on the phone and like literally she closed the door and it couldn't have been 30 seconds. There's just, thump. I was like, ah, shit. And so I just jumped into the closet and shut the door.
That's always the worst thing is like after like something bad and your mom's like, don't do that again. And you're like, okay. And then you do it genuinely on accident. And you're just like, my life has ended.
I'm dead.
In the event of my death, I say that all of my belongings, you just start writing your will and you're like, all right, guys, it's been an honor playing with you.
But literally, I heard my door open and she was like, oh my God, Alec. What? He's not even in here. Where did he go? And I was like, what do I do now? And she left the door open to go walk back into the kitchen. And I was like, maybe I could make like a sneak into the bathroom and just pretend I wasn't even there. I don't know. I'm going to try it. So I did. I just kind of like tiptoed to the corner of the bathroom and then turned the sink on. And she comes over and says, there you are. What happened in there? And I was like, what happened in where? That loud noise. And I was like, don't know what you're talking about. I was in the bathroom. The door was open. What? Huh? Whatever. I just walked off and I was like, thoroughly confused her. And now I'm just going to go back and pick up that drum pad and pretend that I'm not an idiot.
Nothing happened. I am not dumb, I promise.
Those are good times.
Classic.
Anyway, are we at the end of the podcast now? Can we
We're about 125 years in.
Oh, that feels right. Yeah.
No, we're at an hour and 25, so
that works for me. That's the hyperbolic time chamber math adds up to it being a couple decades or whatever.
Yeah, 125 minutes, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. This has been Maybe Next Week. It's a podcast with no clear start and no clear beginning, as you can clearly see. We just end when we feel like it. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, let us know. Did you hide from your parents? Yes, you did. Don't fucking lie to me.
Or if you didn't hide from your parents, did you lie to your parents about anything funny and not like serious? I don't want to be like,
did you hide stuff from your parents, or were you normal?
I don't know. I think hiding stuff from your parents is normal by design of the parental relationship.
Did you not hide stuff from your parents, or are you normal?
There you go. There it is. That's the one.
Yeah.
I'd retweet that.
Also, Tell us, did you hate your English class? Let us know in the comments. We can talk shit about it. It's fine. I hated my English teacher my freshman year. She's a horrible person.
I liked most of my English teachers.
My sophomore English teacher was a sweetheart. I would fight the masses for her.
I don't remember freshman year English at all. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Never mind. I lied. I had 2 teachers.
Yeah, my English 2 class was bomb.
I had Miss Norton for a minute, and then I think she took a maternity leave, I think. Or was that at the end of the year? I don't remember. Anyway, I had 2 teachers freshman year. They were both fine. Sophomore year, don't remember that one very much. Gotta tell you.
Oh yeah, I took English 3 for 2 days and then transferred to AP Language because 2 days in she's like, okay, we're gonna be learning about American poetry through the 1800s. I was like, I'm not doing this.
I gotta go.
I was like, yeah. I was like, nope, I'll fail this class.
Oh yeah, never mind. I had the years mixed up. So sophomore year English teacher, very cool. Liked her a lot. Junior year. English was just like, I was kind of just bored with school at the time, so like English didn't really stand out to me. But both of my teachers were cool. And then senior year, disliked my first English teacher a lot. She was kind of bitchy, but you know. It is
but let us know. Did you like your teachers? Did you hate them? We'll talk about it. But maybe next week you will see us again. It's probably not going to be on schedule. It could be. We don't know. It just depends on the day. But thanks for sticking around, and we'll catch you at some point next week. Maybe. Who knows?
Also, if you do, miss us for whatever reason in between, then you could go check out, from a complete point of view, Jimmie's new Star Wars channel, or Alec Reviews Things, my boutique of thoughts. Just come hang out with us. Give us 10 minutes or 5 minutes or however much time you got. And, yeah. If you're still not tired of that.
If you're still not tired of that, you can check out my home channel, just Espionage Joker, where I talk all things TV and movies. All of the links will be in the description down below. There will be a lot of them if you care to go that far.
And our social medias are on screen, so yeah. We're around. You can find us.
Yep. Annoy us all you want. We'll block you, maybe. I don't know.
Good chance that if you are annoying.
Is that toxic? Is that a little too toxic? I don't know.
I embrace a little bit of toxicity. Like we don't need
just
to cross the line.
We'll be a little petty. We'll be a little petty about it.
I mean, hey, I said that in the start of my video. I welcome pettiness.
So go check out that new video, and until then, we'll see you next week, maybe.